Welcome back and welcome aboard. We have end of season things that we need to take care of. Thank you for subscribing and hit the notification so that you are updated when we put out a new video. Everyone's making a mad dash to the boatyard.
That's right. So our list, change all of the oil, the ATF in the transmissions, all the filters. We always like to change that out at the end of the season. We don't want all those acids sitting in the oil throughout the off season. So we'll get that taken care of. Gel coat. We had some items that were caught on survey that need to be taken care of. We also had a little bit of damage this season where somebody's bow pulpit got into our railing. Those things happen, getting that fixed as well. And then we had some stress cracks we're gonna just kind of have all cleaned up.
The fuel gauge.
Yeah, we have a fuel gauge that since day one hasn't worked for us. So we're gonna have that taken a look at whether or not it's a bad sender or there's not break in the line or something. And then the last thing is exhaust elbows. These are super exciting. Karlynn can't wait to get these done. These are like the least exciting thing on a boat to take care of. Exhaust risers have sprayers on them that cool down the exhaust and get rid of all of the raw water that's cooling the engine. With salt water, over time, those stainless elbows rust. It was caught on survey. We milked one last season out of them, but now it's time to get those changed. Literally, they can break apart and you can end up with raw water spraying everywhere in the engine room, etc. All kinds of bad things. So we're gonna get that taken care of as well. But first, we have a friend that's in need. One of his engines kind of started dying on him at the end of the season. So he needs to go to the same boatyard.
Yep.
And he needs to have an engine possibly repowered. He's out of town, so he's asked us to run his 34 Tolly, the Texas Tolly, down to the boatyard.
That's what we're doing.
So welcome aboard. Enjoy the ride. Here's Randy's boat, the Texas Tolly. Super cool. 34 Tollycraft. Somebody put a hardtop on somewhere on the line and it's just gorgeous.
There we go. Huh. Ta-da. Step one?
Step one-ish.
How's it sound?
Sick. As we come out of South Lake Union, we go west towards the Ship Canal Cut to the boatyard. Gets a little crowded though. We have a lot of these folks go out rowing in the morning and they'll jump right in front of you when you least expect it. Even with one limping engine, the Tollycraft is pretty easy to get into the boat-lit alley.
I'll let you guys off on the bow.
Sounds good. I don't care how many times I see this, it's always fun to see a boat on a travel lift. Two days later, it's our turn. Today we are at the Canal Boatyard. Back here again. So as you can see here, we have some crazing along the front windshield. And this is something that we caught during the survey. Some other items are the inevitable damage that gets picked up during the season, like a bow pulpit that got into our railing, and some just miscellaneous cracking, some things that came with the boat, like some gel coat stress, as well as just random little cracks and chips that need to be taken care of. One of the big items was getting our exhaust elbows taken care of. As you can see in the red circle, or in this closer area, there was some rust underneath those elbows, so it was time to get those taken out and repaired. So he's yanking those off to get those re-welded with new sprayers. Unfortunately, we found a lot of carbon inside the turbos when we had those pulled off, so it was time to pull the turbos as well. An unexpected $3,000 item. Just so everyone's aware, so this is the air cleaner That would be where the air comes in, it goes into the compression side of the turbocharger, which compresses that air into the manifold, and that's where this goes. And then you basically have this compressed air coming into the engine, which gives you more horsepower. So that's why that turbo exists. And then on this side of the turbo, when we put it back on, we'll illustrate it too, it takes, this is the exhaust manifold, and this is where the exhaust comes out, and it spins the turbo on this side and then exhausts on that elbow and into the sprayer. Kind of a bummer, it wasn't in the budget to do this, but it's got to get done. We feel somewhat lucky that we were able to figure out that this was a problem, get it resolved.
So this is our view off the stern of the boat as we stay in the boatyard. It's one thing about boating, the scenery is always changing.
So Kyle from Pacific Fiberglass has wasted no time taking advantage of the nice weather and starting to grind down the gel coat on the first repair.
The day is winding down, and as usual, the geese take over the docks. Our Arlo camera we installed caught a Trash Panda going through the boatyard tonight. So part of the prepping process that they did was put all this down. Got all this, they took off all the cushions. They've got everything sealed off because when they sand, all that fine fiberglass gets everywhere. Okay, so this is what it sounds like when they're grinding the gel coat off the boat.
So here they are now fairing up the glass. So what that means is the gel coat was too thick. Because the gel coat was too thick, it had heat driven into it from the window shade that protects the interior, and it cracked. So what they're doing is they ground all of the gel coat off, and now they've gone through and glassed all of this. They're building it up, and then tomorrow they're going to grind it down so it's up to the original height of what it looked like with all that gel coat in it. And then they'll put a thin coated gel coat on, because gel coat doesn't really have any structural integrity to it. It needs the glass underneath it to not crack.
Here is the piece up here that they are working on. And we're trying to figure out exactly what happened to that, if it was just cracking from too much gel coat, or if it was from when they put the hardtop on. Either way, we're gonna get it fixed, and it's looking good. They had to take the railing off of the boat in order to do the repairs.
And we're hoping to have this done within a week. They're forecasting it's going to take 2 weeks, but I think they're going to have it done much faster. So in no time, Richard from Pacific Fiberglass jumped on the repairs on the rail stanchions, grinding out each and every one of the individual holes. This is what it looks like all ground out. It's just a ton of resin in there. Because when they built the boat, it was in a mold that was flipped upside down from this, and so that resin gets in there, and it doesn't look like they jammed down enough glass matting into that corner, so it's just predominantly resin. So they're going to mat this out and backfill it with resin.
Well, right now I'm just filling this with a really heavy duty filler to fix the little itty bitty cracks on it. And then I got to glass that big mess that I ground out and got ready for glass. First thing I get to do is fill the little holes, those little screw holes. Otherwise you end up with air coming back through the fiberglass.
Is this where you have to be quick?
All of it now. Once I catalyze this, that's when it gets to be really fast. You always put the resin down first. Then you can put your fiberglass in.
How many layers do you put on? Just enough.
With the mat that I'm using, you can put 7-8 layers maybe before you start having a heat problem. When this catalyzes, if you put your hand over this after it's done and it starts to go off, you'll feel quite a bit of heat.
Really?
If you put too much heat, the resin, the polyester resin is actually a plastic, and it can cause shrinkage around it and stuff. It's not good for it, and it can actually crack out. This gets the air out and helps kind of ferret a little bit. Air is kind of the enemy of fiberglass, so if you can't get the air out,
Right.
it's not quite as strong. It's going to be a little bit low right now, and I think
In the center there.
I might be able to get away with not using fiberglass tomorrow. I'll have to see it tomorrow. But that's definitely about as far as I can go for today.
Great. So just cleaning all this up, because when's the last time you've ever had access to the bottom of your rail to be able to get any rust or blemishes off and clean things up? So there's the stuff we use. I'll throw a link below. It literally brush it on, rinse it off, unless it's really kind of scaled. Then you have to use a little bit of a magic eraser on it as well. But this stuff works great. Brightens your stainless. If you do it once a year, it makes it so much easier.
At the end of the day, we hopped in the dinghy to Fisherman's Terminal, which was just across the way, to go have dinner. This boat is getting hauled out, and it's huge. The maximum is 50 tons. That's got to be pretty darn close. I like the name of the boat, Good Fortune. Hopefully this is all good. Okay, I think they're at the maximum beam for this particular lift. That engine on that lift, I can tell, is working overtime. I haven't heard it strain that much before. So far, so good. I don't know, the alarm's going off again. Maybe that's a bad thing. It's stressful just watching it. I can't imagine being the owner. It's kind of a tricky boat. So we just found out from the owner that the last time they hauled this out here, it blew a tire on the lift. And who knows how long that would have taken to change out that tire and start all over again. Okay, here's the spot that he was working on yesterday after he filled it all in and put Bondo on this one. So that one is almost ready to go before they put the primer on. Okay, last step before they left today is they put the primer on, and that takes 24 hours to dry. So it's not supposed to rain tonight, so hopefully that will set for tonight. Okay, this is the spot that they are working on, and they've got the primer ready to go, so it looks pretty good. So, and they have the last spot here. We should be good to go.
I've been having a problem with mildew on the zippers of the upper canvas. You can see it down here as well. And I've used mildew remover, marine grade, Starbright. That usually does quite the trick, but it just won't come out. So we're going to try Wet and Forget, which is an antifungal, and we'll see if that kills it over time, but it takes time. So I soaked this with Wet and Forget, and we'll see if it comes out.
So tonight we're going to stay in a hotel, because staying at the Boatyard, well, John just absolutely loves it and thinks it's the best thing in the world. I need a break.
Front of the boat, less one rail. We are off to a hotel. Karlynn needs a bath. We decided to stay right in downtown Seattle at the historic Mayflower Park Hotel that was built in 1927.
You ready to check into the hotel?
I am. Look, I'm ready to do surgery. Masks. Whenever we get a chance to go downtown, we'd love to go to Rocco's Pizza. They have the most amazing pizza. But no matter how good the pizza or how nice the hotel room, make no mistake about it, this is what it was all about.
Thanks, baby, for the little getaway.
You're welcome.
I love you.
Love you too, baby. So just as promised, Jason from J&L Welding had our custom sprayers and exhaust elbows back to be installed, as well as Achievement Marine had those rebuilt turbos. So from a mechanical standpoint, we are on track and we're going to get out of here today. That was supposed to be the same for the fiberglass and gel coat work, but
they informed us that that is not going to happen. It is a Friday. We have been here all week. It's going to start raining. That causes a problem. If it starts raining, they can't finish up. And the next open window is looking like Wednesday, and it's a 2-day project. We're kind of screwed right now until the weather clears.
But all is not lost. We have a nice view of a goose's ass.
Okay, I made a really big mistake last night that I deeply regret this morning. Last night it rained and I got a little bit lazy. Let me show you. So last night I left the garbage out. We have a little Trash Panda that comes around. We have a camera on the cockpit, and he decided to take the bread, bring it up to the dock, and devour the bread.
He was definitely moving a little bit slower after that meal. Monday arrived with mixed blessings. Blue sky and a shit ton of wind.
Okay, so hopefully today is our last day. They are finishing up the gel coat, and they've got a few more things to do, and then they'll be done. Today is a super windy day. We've got wind at 18 knots with gusts up to 36. So it's kind of crazy. And it takes your breath away.
Windy or not, the team took advantage of the lack of rain on this Monday and really pushed to get the job done as fast as they possibly could. It's pretty amazing.
They put the railing on its side because it was getting ready to blow over. Okay, the railing is going back on, one step closer to being finished. So this is what we listened to all day today. I'm so done with the Boatyard. So it's one more night and then we're done. They say everything's gonna be done tomorrow, so they'll have all the work done on the gel coat, and yeah, we can go back to our slip. Hopefully today is our last day. They've got one more project to do.
Everything's all tinted up so they can spray the dinghy bunks. Get some corrosion on them. Got them all primed, all the corrosion abatement done, and now they're going to shoot it. It's a little breezy, so they're playing it extra careful as far as making sure to mask everything. I think we should be safe. Unlike gel coat, paint is very difficult to spray in the wind. It gets everywhere, so they have to be extra careful. So all the gel coat work is now done. Turned out nice. Took a bit of time, but that's what happens when you do it right. So we'll wash her up, give her a nice bath. She's a little grimy right now, as you would expect. All the stanchions are done. They did a wonderful job of taking care of all that. This is the damage that kind of brought us in here in the first place. Very pleased.
We've been here 11 days. It's a long time. We're done. Adios. Thank you. All right, we made it. We're leaving the Boatyard. Woohoo!
So the brand new blankets on those exhaust risers were smoking a little bit, but the most important thing to do was check to see the temperatures on the exhaust elbows. Look at that. 90 degrees, 100 degrees. It's perfect at 1500 RPM. That's about as hot as it's gonna get. So everything looks great.
So I'm super excited to come back to our slip. Welcome home.